News, rumors and opinions Saturday, July 5, 2025. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. The Old Pretender. This year is going to be the battle of the resets. The 5th of July 2025. Rio reset day 2 reals. Resistance and the BRICS break from the dollar. EMO. The BRICS summit will forge ahead with collective financial infrastructure and de-dollarization. However, it will keep public news of progress obscured behind a nothing burger smokescreen and other distractions, in order to prevent giving Trump prominent punishment targets. The irony is that those that will say that the BRICS summit is a nothing burger and that the US will continue to rule unchallenged, are doing the work of the BRICS to keep their advancement covert and dismissed. Talks on finding an alternative to the dollar for trade between BRICS members are likely dead in the water. It is almost forbidden to mention the idea since Trump threatened 100% tariffs on countries that challenge the dollar's international dominance. My guess is that the former VP of the NDB is giving this interview because his concerns will be addressed at the BRICS summit. The launch of the new NDB mechanism, as an alternative to World Bank's MIGA, will be the big nothing burger news from the summit. Going underground. De-dollarization is moving fast. BRICS new development bank is not doing enough. De-dollarization is proceeding quite substantially, especially in one area. In the bypassing of the dollar and the use of national currencies in the relations between BRICS countries and with other countries outside the BRICS. What is not very advanced is this construction by the BRICS as a group of alternative mechanisms and institutions. This has happened to some extent. For example, I was one of the founders of the New Development Bank in Shanghai. 10 years ago I moved to Shanghai. Now since then, the bank has advanced, but not enough. It's not the global bank that we envisaged back in 2014-2015 to become a rival of the World Bank. Professor Paulo Nogueira Batista Jr., former vice president of the New Development Bank, will join us for Saturday's episode of Going Underground ahead of the BRICS Plus summit in Rio. The question in my mind is whether a leap forward by the BRICS in developing the NDB as a real alternative to the World Bank will be considered important enough by the mainstream to be given attention and analysis of its implications. BRICS explores alternative payment system for trade. Putin and Xi's plot to topple the US dollar is dead. Translation. Western MSM dances on the grave of the Global South, as it is forced to prostrate itself before the empire. This is the planned catalyst for the final, hyperinflationary demolition of the old system, the monetary reset. And #Gold Standard 2.0. So many events are happening which point to that, and it is now exactly 1 year until the launch of US #Gold-bonds. The White House. President Trump's one big, beautiful bill is now a law, and the golden age has never felt better. Since we are now in the final year countdown to the launch of US gold-backed treasuries, is this year going to be the battle of the resets? Western reset versus BRICS reset? Or are the resets effectively coordinated? Thank goodness the fog is now clearing, and the road ahead is becoming more visible. MNT Goat Ali Al-Alak knows what he is doing, and is setting up the Iraqi monetary system for a major revaluation. Decreasing the money supply speaks RV all over it. Yes, it is now shaking out in the news. Article. The financial inclusion rate in Iraq exceeded 46%. Why would they need to have the citizens and merchants on the digital transactions with the banks? Less cash is better. This is what financial inclusion means. I am being told by my CBI contact that the CBI is looking for at least 50% of the citizens with bank accounts and in the system. Post 1 of 2. Stay tuned, MNT Goat. In order to conduct a revaluation of the dinar, thus in order to make the rate of each dinar to the US dollar higher, they would have to reduce the monetary mass in circulation substantially to do it. If you are going with a $4 plus rate, then my CBI contact told me they would have to reduce or shrink the monetary mass by nearly a quarter of the paper. The paper notes in the hands of the citizens must be brought back to the banks. The rest the banks can convert digitally. Folks, it all adds up. They are planning to do a major revaluation in the very, very near future. I can't believe how obvious it is now. Post 2 of 2. What 1980s oil-gold crisis reveals will happen next, history repeats. Daniela Cambone. The 4th of July 2025 trade. It went from the west to the east, and it's never coming back, the gold that's there, says Johnny Kovacevic, author and energy commentator. In today's interview with Daniela Cambone, Kovacevic argues that the global economic center of gravity has permanently shifted. He explains how China, through decades of strategic investment and industrial planning, now dominates critical supply chains, from rare earths to battery production. Despite holding just 7% of the raw materials, they did the hard work. We didn't, he says. With the US focused on short-term political cycles and nostalgic reshoring efforts, Kovacevic warns that nations like China and Russia are stockpiling hard assets, especially gold, as faith in the dollar continues to erode. There's nowhere else to go, he adds, predicting that gold's rise is far from over. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.